Hello class, I am Happy Narang, your subject teacher of Fundamental Soil Science. On continuing with yesterday's topic of soil contamination, today we will discuss the topic inorganic and organic contaminants of soil. Elements are a substance made up of only one atom, for example, hydrogen, calcium, or singlet oxygen. Inorganic compounds are simple molecules that usually consist of one or two different elements, for example, water, carbon dioxide, bimolecular oxygen, and sodium chloride. Anorganic compounds are substances that contain covalently bonded carbon and hydrogen and often other elements, for example, sugars, lipids, amino acids, and proteins. Now we must know about pollutants. A substance or energy introduced into the environment that has undesired effects or adversely affects the usefulness of a resource. A pollutant may cause long or short term damage by changing the growth rate of plant or animal species or by interfering with human amenities, comfort, health, or property values. Inorganic pollutants in soils, heavy metals such as cadmium, lead, chromium, copper, zinc, mercury, and arsenic, etc. Heavy metals in soils are basically due to industrial discharges. Certain heavy metals, for example, zinc, copper, etc., are also present in significant levels in sewage sludge and enrich the soil, where they become part of life cycle and affects adversely. Soil contamination by heavy metals such as cadmium, lead, chromium, copper, zinc, mercury, and arsenic is a matter of great concern. Heavy metals are present naturally in the soil, but their levels are increased by industry. For an example, non ferrous industries, power plants, iron, steel, and chemical industries. Agricultural, for example, we can say irrigation with pollutant water, use of mineral fertilizers. Then waste incineration, combustion of fossil fuels, and road traffic. Pollution of agricultural soils by heavy metals may lead to reduced yields and elevated levels of these elements in agricultural products and thus to their introduction into the food chain. Heavy metals deposits on grassland soils remain predominantly in the top few centimeters and are directly ingested with soil by grazing animals. Heavy metals are toxic and inhibit the soil's microorganic activity. Their concentration in the soil can remain for decades or even centuries. Reduction of heavy metal emissions is the most direct way to decrease the atmospheric deposition of these elements and their buildup in soil. Despite the great increase in traffic, for example, a reduction in lead emissions has been achieved through incentive to use unleaded petrol. Implementing complex measures that reduce soil acidification could more efficiently reduce heavy metals. On agricultural land, heavy metal quantities can be decreased by using low metal content resources for fertilizers, replacing inorganic pesticide with organic products, and other similar methods. The maximum allowable limits of heavy metals in soil and vegetables have been established by standard regulatory bodies such as World Health Organization, that is WHO, Food and Agriculture Organization, that is FAO, and EVSU standard guidelines in Europe as shown in table 2 below that you can see over here. Organic pollutants and soil. NNP derivatives, that is nitrogen and phosphorus derivatives, pesticides, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, benzene, toluene, ethylbenzene and xylene, PCPS, NaPl, plastics, biopolymers, dyes, phenols, chlorophenols, nitro compounds, etc. Now comes nitrates and phosphorus. Nitrogen and phosphorus are elements essential to all forms of life and are therefore relevant to soil systems and food crops. Although they are important plant nutrients, excessive application may lead to nitrogen or phosphate saturation in the soil and eventual contamination of the groundwater. The amount of leaching depends on the soil, the local climate, and the style of crop management. Phosphorus accumulate in the upper layer of soil in regions with high livestock densities. In soils saturated with phosphorus, especially those with shallow groundwater, high phosphorus concentration occurs in the upper groundwater layer and in surface water, resulting in eutrophication. So now let's discuss what is eutrophication. Nutrient load up. Excessive nutrients from fertilizers are flushed from the land into rivers or lakes by rainwater. Plants flourish. These pollutants cause aquatic plant growth of algae, duckweed, and other plants. Algae blooms, oxygen is depleted. Algae blooms preventing sunlight reaching other plants. The plants die and oxygen in the water is depleted. Decomposition further depletes oxygen. Dead plants are broken down by bacteria decomposers, using up even more oxygen in the water. Death of the ecosystem. Oxygen levels reach a point where no life is possible. Fish and other organisms die. Nitrates and phosphorus, nitrogen. The problem of nitrate pollution is recognized internationally and is usually associated with intensive agriculture practices. Good agricultural practices that alleviate the problem are the selection of crops that require fewer nutrients, a timely application of fertilizer that is in the growing season, and improved methods of manure application, shortening the length of the grazing season, and reducing the intensity of grassland use by lowering cattle density. Now comes pesticides and organic contaminants. Pesticides pollute the soil directly by affecting the organisms that reside in it. Soil, however, can act as a vector for the pollution of surface water and groundwater. Organic pollutants enter the soil via atmospheric deposition, direct spreading onto land, contamination by wastewater, and waste disposal. In addition to pesticides, organic contaminants include many other components such as oils, tars, chlorinated hydrocarbons, PCBs, and dioxins. There is such a wide variety of organic substances that their detection and monitoring in the soil is practically impossible. Pesticides, that is mainly fungicides, herbicides, and insecticides, are used in agriculture to protect crops and to ensure a quality harvest. Persistence or mobile pesticides are especially dangerous, as are those that affect non targeted organisms. The use of pesticides may lead to destruction of the soil's microflora and fauna, leading to both physical and chemical deterioration, severe yield reduction in crops, and leaching of toxic chemicals into groundwater and potentially threatening drinking water resources. Some improvements in application and legislation may reduce the side effects of pesticides, such as banning broad spectrum and highly mobile pesticides, employing integrated pest management, enforcing biological control, and developing biotechnologies. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.